Hey folks, how are you doing today? Now, welcome to this episode of The Next 12 Months. And today I'm joined with Jodie Fletcher from Promotional Products. So thank you very much for joining me, viewers. And Jodie, how are you getting on? How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
That's all right. It's going to be a really cool show. And I've got loads of stuff to kind of talk to you about. But tell us a little bit about Chili and about you. What is it all about and what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Okie dokie. So I set Chili Promotions up in 2008, so quite a long time ago now, with a view to being a really customer-focused supplier of branded marketing merchandise. It's quite different now to where it was when I set up and where I thought it was going to be, because I think that's so often the case, isn't it? Businesses change, and I thought it'd be very local, going to see everybody. But actually, even before COVID, that really wasn't the case. I've always met a lot of customers through networking, but I've had customers all over the country for a long time. So much more online and much more on the phone than I originally thought, but still very much focused on getting the right products for customers, not just selling them what's easy for me to sell. It's about finding what they really need and what will work for them.
Nice. And I can imagine from different companies and different industries, that's a plethora of choice out there. You know, you've got endless amounts of kind of things that you can offer them.
Yeah, there is. There's just millions of products. And it makes me laugh sometimes. People say, I just need a pen. I'm like, any ideas on, what kind of pen or anything? And, yeah, just a nice pen, a blue pen. Like, okay, great. So then we have to obviously start narrowing it down, because there's probably 100 different blue pens. But that's great, because that means every day is different.
That's it. And just for kind of people who don't know, why would someone need a promotional product? Why would someone need something like this before we get into the kind of podcast? Because it is something that you see on, if you go to any office or business, you'll see loads of branding cups and all that kind of stuff. But why do people actually need them?
There's so many different times when promotional products are good, but fundamentally they're part of marketing your business. It's brand awareness, it's being seen. So people often use them as like giveaways at exhibitions. They'll use them in direct mail. They'll use them for when new starters come and work with people. That's a brilliant time. Great at expos, great at conferences. As you see more of it, you suddenly become aware of just how everywhere they are in everyday life.
Yeah, it's one of those that the unconscious bias just kicks in and you think, oh yeah, there's another one. And they are everywhere. Brilliant. So let's have a little, before we go into your top three predictions for the next 12 months, let's kind of recap on the last 12 months before we kind of look forward. So how's the last 12 months been for you?
It's been changeable. It's probably the best way. So obviously as an industry, we were really hit by the pandemic. People weren't going out, they weren't exhibiting, they weren't a lot of time recruiting, they weren't doing any of the things when traditionally our items have been used. So we had big change in what was being used. Last year, it felt much more normal, but it was still, things were being used in different ways. But people were using merchandise again, which was great, because it had been quite tricky. It's been, there was a big move towards sending things out to people at home, because there's lots of people working from home, people were recruiting, and then new member of staff that they'd never been to the office, they'd never met people, and so it's really important that people felt like they were part of a team. So there's a big move to almost like care packages that could be sent to people at home that made them feel like they were part of the team. They were, one of the crew when they had team Zooms and everybody went, yay, we've all got our bags. We're all part of that family. So there's a big move towards that. A lot of hampers. A lot more so over the last couple of years, maybe when the Christmas parties weren't happening so much.
Yeah.
Again, just big move towards looking after staff more than the new customer side of it, I think, last year.
Oh, yeah. And actually, I suppose that's, thinking about how I've been using promotional items and kind of what I've seen a lot of people do, it is very much a let's look after everyone kind of mentality. And it's always been the case when I think about promotional items myself, I think about what's going to be best for that person, rather than just get generic stuff. Let's actually think about what's going to be really good for that person, or for my industry, what is that person really going to resonate with, rather than getting something down. But by the sounds of it, it's taking that to the next level.
Yeah, it does feel like it's gone on to really needing to know your customer, which we've always said, there's not one size fits all on merch, and it is knowing who your customer is. It's not even what you like best, it's what your customers are going to like best, and that's important. But yeah, it definitely feels like it's gone that one step further to really niching down and getting lower quantities of things that are going to really resonate with the person that's getting them.
Nice. So let's start with your 3 predictions, because that's what we're all here for, because we want to know what's happening in the promotional branding kind of industry and promotional products industry, and really what's going to be the trends for the next 12 months. So Jodie, what is your first prediction for your industry for the next 12 months?
A continued but big growth in UK manufactured products. So Brexit had quite a big impact. Obviously, a lot of merchandise has either, and still is, a lot of it's made in the Far East, a lot of it's made in India, quite a lot of it's made in Turkey, all over the place, merchandise made, and a lot of it's held in stock in mainland Europe, moved into the UK where it's then branded. That's meant that there's been a lot of challenges recently with stock, getting stock in, and obviously the costs have gone up a lot. Kind of the perfect storm of Brexit and COVID together. Just it's been tricky on that front, but the brilliant side of that is that UK manufacturers are benefiting and are building, and that's got to be good. You know, we want to support our economy, don't we? And from an environmental impact, that's brilliant, because if we're buying locally, they're not having air miles, they're not having all the sort of the carbon footprint of traveling all across the world, especially the recycled stuff that gets moved to China to come back. Backwards and forwards, that's not that green, in my opinion. So I think, yeah, the UK manufactured is big, and there's some great manufacturers in the UK making some really cool products. Some of them making it. One of our factories has a site that's in the UK and that has a zero to landfill policy. So a lot of the stuff, when they're making it, they the waste from making, say, plastic cups gets mashed back up again and put into making mouse mats, because they've then got a laminate cover over it. So it's a matter if it's not just the right colour, it's covered so you can't see it, so you'd never know. But I love that.
That is pretty cool.
So as I say, people think that, you know, merchandise can be quite frivolous and quite kind of, you know, throw away, but actually when it's well thought out like that, it isn't, and it's, you know, going into a well-used product again that lasts. Good.
And actually, so the UK based, you say there's loads of different countries around there. Do you think that's going to be, you know, when someone's looking for a catalogue in the future, do you reckon they'll be kind of made in the UK stamps, that kind of thing? Do that to kind of recognise it? Is it going to get to that stage? Yeah,
definitely. And it's starting already. So big range of the hand sanitizers that came in when because hand sanitizer has always been a promotional item that's been in the catalogues and sold a bit, you know, not massively. Obviously, the last 2 years it's been a whole different ball game. And one of our suppliers just jumped straight into that. They were making it in the UK to the WHO recommended formula, and they've got Made in Britain accreditation, and it's, to me, that's a really good selling point. It's also safer because you're not shipping the alcoholic, highly flammable stuff as well.
Good point.
Yeah, and I think more and more stuff that it says Made in Britain on it, it says it in the catalogues, there'll be, yeah, more. And I'm promoting it more and more because I'm really behind that. I think that's a really good thing. So often where we can, there'll be some things that are unlikely to be, but now you can get lanyards fairly competitively made in Britain rather than from China, and then they're really quick as well, which they're really good.
You mentioned about the turnaround. Is it generally quicker? You know, you say it's now comparative and it's kind of the same, but not. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's being made in the UK, turnaround time would be quicker anyway, or have I got a complete screw whiffed?
Yeah, no, turnaround time's often quicker. Yeah, random things they can make in the Far East so blooming quickly that it's crazy. You know, there might be, you place an order one day and it's probably shipped from the factory the next day or the day after, and the fact that it takes 10 days to get here is because it's got to go in a lorry half of China, which is quite big, and to the port and then shipped. I hadn't realised when I've been trying to squeeze lead times down in the past, and they're like, Jodie, they're going to ship it tomorrow. Can't really take much off that. And I was like, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the being made in the UK a lot of the time will be quicker.
Oh, What's your second prediction? So what's your prediction number 2?
Quite a big increase in individually named and personalised. So it's kind of what we were hinting on earlier, in finding just that right product for somebody. But one of the big things that's come out over the last few years from before COVID is the ability to not just engrave, say, a logo onto a pen or onto a travel mug or a bottle. Things like these bottles, brilliant, have a logo on it. But also, if I was sending it to, list my customers, when I send the artwork into the factory, we send it saying logo, and then I want Gary on this one and Jodie on this one, and whatever. They all come out exactly like that. And actually, that can work really well, especially for teams, particularly, especially if people are going to be back in an office and actually don't want, we're going to be probably extra careful for a while, aren't we, on not wanting to, you think, oh, so-and-so in accounts, they don't wash up very well, I think I'll use my own mug. And actually, if everybody's got their own mug on it, you're only going to use your own, and there's much less risk of contamination, so that's good. But the feel good when you open something and it's got your name on it, maybe you open a nice pen set and open up the box and it's got the pen, you're like, oh, that's really lovely. You kind of feel special, don't you? Someone's taken the extra effort to put your name on it as well. So I think that's something that we have seen growing, and I think that's continuing to grow, and sort of expand. There's more and more products that can be individually named, but also sending out, maybe we talked about the boxes that you can send out. So maybe sending out, especially if there are less of the expos and things like that, sending out something to perhaps some prospects, and it's got a mixture of individually named things, but actually I know, because I've done some research and I know that so-and-so at this company is big on golf, so I'm going to send them some golf tees in their box, but actually I know that this person isn't, so I can adapt that box and personalize that box more to suit that person. This person's a coffee drinker, this one likes hot chocolate. You could put whichever sachets or whatever in there that work to make it really personal, and I think that's something that's growing.
And that sounds like, from a kind of business point of view, fantastic. It sounds like a lot of work to be able to do all that. Does that mean you spend more time doing that rather than does that take a lot more of your time, or is it just comparative compared to the other orders?
The easy option from my point of view is get everything sent in bulk to one address. That's really straightforward, but actually that's not the way that's back to the very beginning where I was saying it's about doing what's right for the customer. And we can source that. We can do that in our offices here, but we've also got various fulfillment houses that can have everything. So we've done quite a few orders over the last year where we've had all the stuff sent in to them, they package it up, they're sending it to Europe, they're sending it across the UK, they're sending it wherever, and they know that this person has a large t-shirt and this person has a small t-shirt, and that's fine, or this one wants a t-shirt and a mug, or this one wants, and that's all fine, that can all be factored in. So no, it's a little bit more on the organisation, but it's absolutely possible, and touch wood, seems to work.
Works spot on.
Right, people seem to get the right product.
Well, that's the main thing. That is the main thing. Yes. So, Jodie, what is your point number 3? What's your third prediction?
Prediction number 3 is it's tied, I think, to prediction number 1, but again, the continued momentum to move to eco products, and genuinely eco products, not stuff that perhaps in the past has been labelled eco because it's reusable or but actually it's, when you really look into it, it's perhaps not as eco as it might seem. And I think the real eco stuff is going to come out. Consumers are getting really aware of what's genuinely eco-friendly and what actually matters. And people have got different things that are important. So for some people, it's the air. Like, I get really funny about the air miles and that kind of travel. But if it's, for me, even if it's made of plastic, if it's reusable and it's got a good shelf life, and when it comes to the end of its life, I can put it in my recycling bin and I know it's going to be broken down and recycled and reused. I like that. I like that more than some of the other things, like traditionally there's been bamboo cups have been quite a big thing, of like a big talker. Everybody's, oh, bamboo mugs, they're great. They've actually got quite a small percentage of bamboo in them. They're mixed with a resin that isn't great, are made in China, and they're sent over here and they can't be recycled. So it's got bamboo in it, so people think it's eco, but I'm not so sure that that's so eco in my mind. And I think more and more people are getting really, really switched on to what really is eco. there's a bigger rise in recycled cotton, because the cotton manufacturing process uses huge amounts of water in countries where water supply is not great. So there's been a big movement to using recycled cotton, because obviously that's much better. And that's all just starting to really kick through. And I think that's moving forward. We've had like a reset over the last couple of years, and I think where things are going, it's going to be much more about the credentials. And always ask if I say to people, if they want to know more about exactly why that is an eco option, ask us, because we as distributors of marketing products should have that information, and we should be able to just provide you with all the data that you need if we're claiming that it's eco-friendly.
And actually, I really like the points that actually it depends on what people's levels are. Because some people would just literally look at the badge and go, eco, yeah, job done. Bamboo, yeah, that's eco, that's great. Some people want to learn that a little bit more. And the more people who want to learn a little bit more, the general consensus and knowledge will just raise and raise and raise and raise, which is great. For me, actually, mileage on a promotional product, yeah, that means something to me. If I can get something local rather than get it transported, happy days. Yeah. If that even down to the fact, if that company's got a kind of well-being side of it, or it plants X amount of trees for X amount of stuff at the centre, or whatever initiatives they've got, that's a real good selling point for me. And that, to me, that's important. So no, I do get that. I do get that. And you said the last couple of years have been kind of a hiatus for that. It always stalled, I think is what you mentioned. You said. You think that over the next 12 months, that's really going to pick back up again?
Yeah, I think the last 2 years really have been so strange. There's been things that we've just had to have in life that aren't great, like the masks and things like that. But actually, those values are still there, and they're ever more important to people to be eco. And I think we now need to do something about addressing all that's gone into landfill over the last 2 years that wouldn't normally. And actually, if we can do those extra things now, if there is an eco alternative, if there is a made in Britain alternative, things that are going to help and make a difference, then that's got to be good. And especially when they're comparatively priced. In the past, there's been such big premiums on UK made stuff or eco stuff, and it's getting, the more we're using of it, the more the prices are becoming comparable. That's good.
Nice. So just quickly recap your three predictions for the people who, just want to quickly get them in one segment.
Okay. Increase in UK manufactured merchandise, increase in individually named or much more personalised merchandise, and an increase in eco-friendly merchandise.
It's ace. That is ace. Exciting times. Exciting times.
Definitely.
It is. Yeah. If people want to find more information about Chili promotional products and connect with you, Jodie, how can they?
LinkedIn is a great place to start. Connect with me. I'm on there as Jodie Fletcher. Twitter and Instagram, I'm Chili Jodie. We're on Facebook, it's Chili Promotional Products. Not on that TikTok thing yet.
That's fair. Some people are, some people aren't. That's all good. But no, it's really interesting to kind of hear where it is. And the beauty of it is, of this podcast, is that we can have the same chat in 12 months' time and it could be completely different.
I could have been totally wrong.
But it's all good because it shows how quickly the industries are moving. And thinking about this podcast, we couldn't have done this 6 months ago. People weren't kind of in that head stage to do that. We are now. So Jodie, Chili Promotional Products, thank you very, very much for joining us today. And thank you very much for everyone watching the Next 12 Months podcast today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.